Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. And this is All Things Cheryl, unapologetic, and here with another video. It's Sunday, and I'm just now doing my review and recap on Queen Sugar. I've decided that I'm not going to do the review on Pose. There's another show, and it's supposed to be coming out with Robin Givens in it, and it looks very good. I think I might want to check that out. But let's get on with this review of Queen Sugar season 4 in episode 1. Season 4 and episode 1 opens up with Nova. Nova is basically in New York right now, and she is basically putting together a video explaining and telling and promoting her book, which is called Blessings and Blood. And Nova is a little bit nervous about the book. She's not sure exactly how her family is basically going to respond to it. One reason why she's not sure, the family knows that she has a book coming, and they don't know when the book is going to be published, and they also don't know what's inside the book and what she is basically talking about. And so we know that Nova is very, very nervous. If I was Nova, I would be nervous too. And we're going to get back a little bit more back to Nova in this Blessing and Blood memoirs, as she calls it. We go on and we see that Hollywood and Aunt Vi has basically completed their honeymoon, and she is on a high. She's on cloud 9 right now, because they just got back from the honeymoon and they went to Taiwan. And basically we see them shopping in a I'm gonna say like a farmer's market, but not quite a farmer's market, but a market where you can basically, pick up a whole bunch of different items. And so basically Hollywood and Aunt Vi is basically talking about the honeymoon, and the fact that she has developed another taste palette. Excuse me, my nose. Another taste palette, and that not only are they going to be getting Vi's pies, but they're also going to be getting other delicacies that she had tasted while they were on their honeymoon. And we see that for those of you all who are familiar with Queen Sugar and who checked out Queen Sugar last year, you know that Hollywood had a case going, and he basically won that case. And so some of the money that he received from that case, he basically went on and he bought the high yellow for Aunt Vi, because basically the old owners basically was putting High Yellow restaurant up for sale. So now Aunt Violet has a restaurant. Now we go on and we see Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel is basically looking good, and Ralph Angel's farm looks like it's very good, and it also looks like he has hired a couple of people to help him work with the farm. Not too many. And we also see Prosperous. Prosperous is drives up and he gives Ralph Angel a letter. Now, that particular letter, let me make sure, reading my notes and trying to remember. That particular letter is basically from the parole. Now, as you all know, Ralph Angel has had some challenges with the law, and basically he has been on parole. I'm going to say he's been on parole for 3 years. This is the 3rd year. So this year, he is no longer on parole. He basically reads the letter. Prosperous is basically there. And, he's just acting like it's just hunky-dory. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm up. Now, when Prosperous before Prosperous leave, he tells Ralph Angel that his father is basically looking down on him and watching his moves. But when Prosperous leave, he take off and he runs through the field. He's smiling and he is just like stretching his arms out. He's excited that the fact that he is basically a free man. I will be running too. He's basically a free man. He does not have to answer. He doesn't have to be responsible. The only thing he has responsibility is for now is to make sure that he and Blue is living their best life. And so we go on and we see something that we asked for, and they basically they put it in this year. Now we see Charley. Now Charley is basically, last year Charley was basically really having it. Yeah, I mean she couldn't even breathe. But this year we see Charley chilling, and remember that I think he's I don't know if he's a doctor, a nurse, or what, I can't remember, but remember the young man, the young Latino man that Charley ran into when Ralph Angel and her basically went out to kind of chill at a pub, at one of the bars. Well, it looks like they became lovers. The one reason why I said it looks like they got together and they became lovers is because Charley and her new love interest, I'm going to say her new love interest, which is the hot tamale, he's cute, he's fine. Well, both of them are laying down and basically getting massages. And so Charley is basically enjoying everything, enjoying the massage. And he's getting a massage, she's getting a massage, and then all of a sudden, he gets up from his massage and he goes over and he puts oil on his hands and he begins to massage Charley. Now, Charley is basically feeling this man. One reason why I'm saying she's feeling this man is because, she is speaking Spanish. And he's speaking Spanish to her and she's speaking Spanish to him. And he's basically telling Charley that her Spanish is really is getting much better, and she tells him thank you in Spanish, and she just enjoying it. And I'm glad to see that she went on and she got some. Of course, we know she couldn't get none from the other guy, but anyway, we don't even want to talk about him. I can't even think of his name right now, but anyway, that does not matter. What matters is that Charley is basically chilling and hanging and releasing some of that stress that she had on her. Of course, and then we go on and we go back to let me read my notes. Okay, yeah, we go back and we see that Nova. Nova is basically really getting very nervous about what is about to occur. And one of her friends who were very close to her asked her about this book, and apparently no one really has got a manuscript of this book. And so we go on and we see that the restaurant is about to open. Everybody is getting together, and the restaurant is about to open. They do a little New Orleans kind of march, something that they're really famous for in New Orleans. I don't really know, really what that is called, but we see them coming down the street waving white handkerchiefs and coming to the new restaurant, which is called Vibe Pies, and I think Vibe Pies restaurant. And so, of course, the restaurant opens. So we go inside the restaurant. Vibe Pies restaurant is looking very good. Everybody is basically, celebrating, which I think is very cute and very interesting and very good. Even Aunt Vi gave Blue a corner. So Blue has been introduced to the entrepreneurship. Basically, it is Aunt Vi gave Blue called it Blue's Corner. So he's basically over there selling his little stuff, selling gluten pies and a whole bunch of everything. And he's getting really excited. Now we see that basically Dollar has came into the restaurant, and so Dollar goes over to Aunt Violet, and she gives Aunt Violet a gift, and Aunt Violet is really giving Dollar basically the shade. And of course, Ralph Angel sees exactly how Aunt Violet is basically treating Dollar, and Aunt Vi is not too happy. We know why she's not too happy, because we found out that Ralph Angel is not Blue's biological father. And so Aunt Violet has this little conversation, which I found it was very interesting, was talking about Ralph Angel and Dollar's parenting skills, and that the fact that she did not like the fact that they were basically passing Blue back and forth like he was a load of day-old bread. And I was like, Aunt Violet, you need it. And Blue is not yours. So the way Ralph Angel and Dollar is basically raising Blue, their parenting skills. So that's basically what you do when you share custody. Now, we see that Dollar and Ralph Angel is having a conversation, and so Dollar tells Ralph Angel, asks Ralph Angel if he could basically take one of the days. It's because she has something she needs to do. And of course, Ralph Angel's basically digging a little bit more to find out what is it that she wants, that she's willing to trade a day with him. And then that's when we find out that Dollar has a date. And of course, you should have seen, for those of you who know what Ralph Angel's face was looking about, he was basically surprised that she had a date. And so we go on, and then we see a scene where Nova is basically trying to make some arrangement with her sister Charley, but basically Charley is getting is very busy. The reason why she's very busy is because she's getting ready to for the harvest. The harvest is getting ready to come up. Not only is getting ready to come up, but she's also getting ready to receive an award that is giving her for her to be the first black woman to actually own a sugar mill. And so Nova is trying to make some arrangements, trying to, talk to Charley to give Charley the heads up as to what is in this book so they can basically be ready and be prepared for the repercussion that's about to come, because it's about to come. And the reason why I said it is about to come is because Nova has wrote this book called Blessings and Blood. Now, the title of the book is interesting, Blessings and Blood, but I'm also going to throw my little scenario, my little twist on it. I'm going to call it the Pandora's box on the Blessings and Blood, because what is in this book is about to explode, and it's about to open, and it's going to cause some repercussion. We don't know exactly what's in the book, but then we go on and we see Nova has had some issues and double thinking about what she has done, especially writing her memoirs. And it's haunting her so bad, where is that she's having nightmares, and she wakes up and she begins to hold herself. And in this dream that she's having, the dream is she's Charley, her, and Ralph Angel is basically in their childhood. And then the dream goes on where we see Charley, Ralph Angel, and Nova is an adult, and we see them all dressed in white. Now, remember when Queen Sugar first came on and the father passed away? Well, it looks like it was the same outfits that they had when their dad passed on. And so we see Nova is waking up in a panic. And so this is when she begins to move like a thief in the night. And the reason why I said she begins to move like a thief in the night, this is when she begins to leave the manuscript at everybody's house. She basically leaves the manuscript at Buy's Pies and she put it on the desk. Then she leaves the manuscript at Charley, and she gives Charley, and then she gives a copy. Now, before that, while we were at the party for the new restaurant for Aunt Vi, there were a couple of Nova's friends basically at the celebration, and they were asking Nova. One of the girls said, Nova, basically, I have a sister who lives in New York, and she has seen your advertisement. In other words, she's seen your ad for your book. And while all this is going on, Hollywood is basically in the background. And this is when Hollywood is kind of sort of what the kids say and what we say sometimes, ear hustling. And so while the lady and Nova was basically there, the lady said, basically, can you give us a little tidbits about what's in the book, what the book is about? And this is when Nova tells him, she says, well, you're going to have to buy the book and find out. And so we go on and we see that basically Hollywood comes to Nova. He waits too after she's basically there by himself and her, and then this is when the conversation Hollywood had with Nova, and he tells her, he says, you see this woman over here, I have vowed to protect her, to make sure that everything is okay with her. And this is when he gives her a warning. He says that if that book has any interest, I forgot how he put it, but he says that some of the secret. He knows 25% of some of the secrets that has been held to the family, and that if any of those secrets come out, it's going to be some repercussion. And of course, and this is when Hollywood tells Nova, and he asks the question. He says, "What's in that book? What's in that book?" He says he gets the feeling that it's stuff in that book. And so this is when we go back and we see when Nova begins to move like a thief in the night. She's looking really shady. She's looking very nervous because she knows she has done some shit that basically she had no business in spilling secrets. And so we go on and we see Charley. Basically, Charley and Romero, I think his name is Romero, was basically at her house, and basically Romero was talking to Charley and saying that, okay, the summer is about to end, and we know that Michael is basically coming back, and we know that the little summer romance and everything that we had, that we were getting close, is about to end. And so this is when Charley tells Romero, no, not necessarily so. We're going to still continue on doing our thing. We might have to do it a little bit more. But she says we're going to continue on. And so then this is when Charley tells Romero that she basically has a luncheon to go to. And he asks if he could come. And she says, no, you don't have to come. And before that, Nova wanted to know whether or not if she could come, because Nova went to Charley's workplace, and this is when she gets the book too. And so Nova had volunteered to come to the luncheon with Charley, but Charley said, no, it's just a luncheon, I'm just getting on board. And so this is when we see basically Charley is at the luncheon. While Charley is at the luncheon, she gets ready to prepare to do her speech. And after she gets ready to prepare to do her speech, I didn't write the whole thing down, but this is, just a little bit. What happened was that it was, and I'm going to call her a feminist, a white feminist. And the reason why I say I'm going to call her a white feminist is because especially white feminists and black feminists, the way black feminists and white feminists operate is basically totally different. So this white feminist, who was a reporter for the New York, I don't know, it was some paper in New York. She asks Charley if she's basically a feminist when it comes to women and their equal right and everything. And so Charley was basically trying to say, look, this is not the time. We could talk about this later. But being this white feminist reporter was very, very pushy. And she began to ask questions. And she told Charley, she says, Charley, I got an advance copy of your sister's book. And apparently what your sister is saying is that she was writing about how you treated the case where is that your husband, you did a cover-up. In basically so many words, you covered up the case that your husband was being accused of a rapist charge, and you paid these particular women millions and millions of dollars. Now, guys, Charley was basically caught off guard. She didn't know what was going on. She was basically caught off guard. And you know how she does that little horse smile that she has, kind of like, yeah, I got you, but I don't know what's going on. So then we see everybody in the audience, majority of the audience was black and white. But then this is when we see all the cameras. With the age of social media, the camera was basically going up, and it went on social media. All of the women who had their cameras, because you could see them, they were basically, when they heard that, some women was like, oh my God. And then this is when we saw the cameras doing like this. And I was like, oh shit. All hell is about to break loose. And so we go on and we see Charley is pissed in all get out. She comes in the house. She goes to the cabinet. She get a big glass of wine, pour her wine. She throws the coat down. She grabs the wine. She grabs the book. And she sits there and she spends all night long reading the book. All night long reading the book. I'm saying to myself, oh shit. All hell is about to break loose and the Pandora's box has been opened. Now, after Charley gets finished reading this book, that's when she calls up her brother, her baby brother, the only brother. And she says, Ralph Angel. And this is when Ralph Angel says, yeah, what's the deal? What's going on? She says, have you read Nova's book yet? And Ralph Angel says, no, it's early. But prior, let's go back a little bit for Ralph Angel. Now, Ralph Angel has ran into a lovely brown-skinned, short-haired woman who basically has a daughter. So we see that there's a love or maybe an interest is getting ready to occur because the young lady has a daughter and Ralph Angel has a little boy, and Blue and those two are playing together. So I didn't want to leave that little bit out. But anyway, let's get back. And so she tells Ralph Angel, she says, Ralph Angel, whatever you do, don't read the book until I get there. Don't do anything until I get there. And curiosity kills the cat. You know that when you tell, no matter what, as a child, an adult, or somebody that don't do, they do it. And so we get there. And so this is when we see Charley. Charley's in the car on her way over to see Ralph Angel, but while she's at the stoplight, Charley gets on and to start doing damage control. She says, ring! She says she's talked to, I guess, one of her lawyers, and she says, I need for you to do something. I need for you to stop my sister's book. I need you to put a decease and stop on that book right now. ASOP. Charley is in her damage control Olivia Pope move. So she's on her way. See her brother. Meantime, we see Nova. Nova is at the graveyard, is at her father's grave. She takes a copy of the book and she puts the book down in front of her father's tombstone, and she begins to basically pray and ask for her father's blessings and for protection for this blessing and blood novel memoir that she has basically wrote about the family. Now, guys, Nova, in the beginning, right off the bat, on episode 1, is pleasure and love. I think it was love and pleasure or something like that. Nova is a wanted character. A bounty is beginning to be placed on Nova's head. Nova has basically spilled the tea about secrets that has been going on within the Bordelon family. And apparently and allegedly, it seems that Dad died with secrets also. And apparently and allegedly, it seems that Nova knows some of those secrets in which her dad, died and told no one, but the only person that kind of sort of knew what was going on, what was the head up, is Nova. Now, and of course, that's the end of season, that's the end of episode, no, that's the end of episode 1 and the beginning of Queen Sugar. Now, let me just tell you guys, it's gonna be a rocky road, especially for Nova. And the reason why I say especially for Nova, because Nova is spilling secrets, and you know how the black family is when it comes to secret. Some black families will go to their grave not saying a word about what occurred. And there's always somewhere in the cut, in the dark, in the corner, someone knows about the secret. And this particular person, as far as the secret within the Bordelon family, Nova is the target. Nova knows secrets, and she's spilling it, but the way she went about it is all hell break loose. That's all I got right now. And I'm going to say, love is for everyone. Click, subscribe, share, watch, become a subscriber. And most of all, I see you guys in the next video. Take care. It's Sunday. I'm moving a little late, but it's Sunday. And to all of you dads, happy Father's Day. Until the next video, see ya.